Yo, bartender.
Bar's closed.
Hey, yo, bartender, what's good, man? Let me get a drink, man. Let me get a shot.
Hey, man, I know you just pulled up to the bar, but we closed.
Come on, man. You gotta be able to give me a shot, man. Come on.
You look like you need a drink, man, but I hate to tell you this, man. We about to close.
So you mean to tell me all these people out here, they got drinks and they got shots, but I can't get nothing. The bar closed that soon?
Okay, man, I don't know what else to say. I got this shorty, half my age, at the crib, and I'm trying to get to her. But last call was 10 minutes ago.
You know what? It's alright. Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All right. Tell you what, I'm gonna get you one drink, cause it look like you need
one drink. I can do one drink. I can do one drink, cause I really yeah.
Hey, man, anything, man. Look like you got a lot on your mind and you need a friend right now. Pour it on me. Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.
All right, welcome to Bar Talk with Jay.
Welcome.
One of the things we're brought to you by is Camo Dumpsters. This is a great thing that I got going on in Tennessee, but again, I'm trying to make my way back to Georgia, but until I make it there, only thing I can tell you, if there's any great things going on in Tennessee, I should know all about them, because I'm trying to make this bad boy grow to epic proportions. Yes, over here at Camo. Now that I've got that out the way, I gotta remember this person sitting with me with a smile all the time. Craftmatic, how you doing that night, big baby?
Man, I'm doing lovely, smooth, Jay. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, let me tell you, Craft, man, I'm glad you asked. You know, half dragging because I caught the flu a couple weeks ago.
Yes, man.
And,
I had it too, bro.
Everybody knows Tennessee had one of the highest outbreaks, but again, I'm noticing across the world, it seemed like.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a test for the flu, all right? So they tested me for COVID, told me I was negative for COVID, and I was like, well, okay, cool. But you're positive for the flu. Okay.
That's the same thing they told me, Jay.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there like puzzled, but I was feeling like flu-like symptoms. I had a constant cough. And again, if any of y'all out there, man, definitely get tested. Also, make sure you guys Theraflu, do all the right things to get yourself and your body back in shape. And also make sure you take time and rest. Because again, that was one of the first things I went back to do. Is resting and realizing I gotta love me, take care of me. And
that's exactly right, Jay.
I like to say now I'm feeling definitely better, you know, just a tad bit dragging. I was out Christmas shopping, trying to get into the spirit.
I love it, man.
And doing my thing. But overall, man, I am blessed to be here, let alone blessed to be able to give gifts to everybody and also to be able to show that love and spirit.
Absolutely, man. A great way to introduce our show. This is Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy Smooth Jay. And we are here to give you just a fabulous dialogue. We want to get in underneath the surface of one of these topics. In fact, the topic for tonight we're going to be talking about is, are more single people becoming uncertain about relationships?
Ooh.
And so as we talk through this subject, we hope that our stories and our opinions can somehow liberate your mind and soul and give you a new idea, give you a more focused idea of what you want and how you're going to deal with the kind of situations that we'll be talking about tonight. This show is ultimately designed to be kind of therapeutic, which means that when you hear our stories, you know, you got to figure out what's good for you. And my hope is that you're going to come out of this show with a very clear conscience about how you're going to deal with being single or being in a relationship. And we have done hundreds of these shows, and I am more clear now than I've ever been, Jay, in my entire life. And so we hope that comes out the same way for you. Of course, we always start the show out with a prayer. And I know, Jay, did you want to do our prayer tonight?
Knock him over the head, man. You getting back well, man. Let us know what your prayer was when you was down and out to get somebody else up in spirit.
Yeah, okay. There are a lot of people who are not feeling well right now. And so let's just pray over those who need some spiritual healing, shall we?
All right.
Heavenly Father, we come into your presence right now just thanking you for all that you are. We thank you for your love and your protection. We thank you for your power and your grace. We thank you for everything that you do in us, through us, and for us. We're asking, Heavenly Father, tonight that you would inspire the health of all people. There are a lot of people who are sick right now, Lord, with the flu and with COVID and with sinusitis. They call it the triple pandemic going on, Lord. And we know that you are in control of this situation. We're asking, Lord, that you would heal those people who have no insight and no help and no support to heal themselves. Give them nourishment and give them strength. Give them confidence to overcome this, Lord. Give them the faith that they should see this through to the end. We're asking, Heavenly Father, that you would somehow cleanse away all of these nonsense germs that are going on in our environment.
Yes.
We ask that you would bind them and rebuke them, and that you would take them out of our environment. Allow us to be immune, Lord, to this nonsense, Lord, to the wiles of the enemy. Keep us whole, keep us complete, keep us filled with energy, keep us filled with love and compassion for this life. Don't let anyone give up in their life, Lord, because of all of this sickness and illness. Keep us strong in faith, Lord, so that we can see through to the end a perfect spiritual healing. We ask that you would be here in this show to do your good and perfect work. Speak wisdom to us tonight. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Oh, you did that one.
Amen.
Yes, I'm hoping that touched the ears of a lot of people that might not be feeling great right now. Rejoice.
Rejoice.
Yeah, spoken over you.
Yeah, and let's just start right there, Jay.
Okay.
You know, when you are down and out,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't matter what you're down and out about.
Right.
It can be your business, it can be your health, it can be your broken heart and emotions. But when you are down and out,
Yes.
you have to find some way inside of yourself to go back to the top, to go back to the promised land. You can't expect healing feeling sorry for yourself.
That is right.
You can't you can't even expect God to heal you. You got to have some faith. He lives in us and through us by our faith in him.
Okay.
And if we have faith that he's going to heal us and that he can bring us through and that he's not going to let this get out of hand, then that's exactly what will happen. But if you start doubting him and you start fearing him and you start wondering if you're going to make it through, if you start being sorry for yourself and allowing the sickness to just consume you, that you're not working in the spirit and you're not at the mindset that's going to produce the greatest healing for your body.
Correct.
You have to find a way to see yourself healthy even though you're sick. You may have no energy, but somehow see yourself energetic. Speak energy over your life. Speak healing over my life. I just spent 6 days in the bed behind this flu bug.
Ooh.
6 straight days. 3 straight days in the front before I went to the doctor, and then another 3 straight days after I seen the doctor with medication. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't feel much better before or after. I got up this morning feeling pretty good, but my mindset said, this gonna be all right.
Okay.
I'm gonna get through this. And you know what? I'm not gonna get sick anymore. I'm prophesying sickness away from me. I rebuke you. I bind you, flu. Get off of me. Get off of my kids. Get off of my community. Get off of my family.
Say it.
You have no power here. The devil is a liar,
Yes.
and we're gonna stand strong in health. We understand that this is not natural sickness.
That is true.
These are some manifest germs, and we don't have to talk about where they manifest from, but these are some manifest germs, and we got to find a way to stand up in the midst of this. I've been sick 4 major times this year, more than I have ever been sick in my life. And I don't know if sometimes maybe the Lord is just saying, hey, it's time to stay home. Remember I sent you home 2 years ago? Remember I sent you into quarantine? The quarantine ain't over, because sometimes he's got to do some things in the world, and he needs you to stay out the streets. He needs you to stay out of party mode. He needs you to stay out of everybody else's way and in everybody else's business and in everybody else's house. It's time, folks, that we shut down a little bit from the world, because there's some cleansing that has to take place in the world before we can get back out there. There's nothing wrong with doing your business. There's nothing wrong with you putting on your boots and putting on your mask and putting on your hat and having to go and get a good day's work done. But don't be hanging out and lollygagging in places that you otherwise wouldn't and shouldn't be. It's time to protect yourself.
Right.
Right? It's protection time. It's self-protection time. And there's so many ways to do that. And, you know, one of the other key ways to do that is that we just have to take better care of ourselves. That's drinking our plenty of water, keeping fluids in our bodies. That's taking our vitamins. If you are taking medications, take them properly. You know, you can eat better foods. You know, rather than ordering out Uber Eats all the time, fix you a big pot of soup so you can eat on for 2, 3, 4 days.
Say it,
and you know you're getting nourishment. You know you're getting some hot nourishment into your body.
Say it.
But if you get lazy and you end up ordering, you know, out 2, 3, 4 times a week, you're spending hundreds of dollars that you don't have to spend in order to eat healthy and to be healthy, right?
Yep.
We got to get our mindset right during this season. So taking care of ourselves is one of the key components. I believe that those of you who have not gotten all your medical work done, and just in terms of your annual physical, and your vision work done, and your dental work done, and
Speak over that.
you know, and anything else that might need to be done on an annual basis,
Right.
I want you to get laser focused on getting those things done the first quarter of the year. We're entering now into 2023, and you know, don't expect to get through the year and not take care of yourself. You don't want to wind back up the second quarter of the year with this same flu that's going around again.
Thank you.
And, you know, there are many things you could have done to improve your health, you know. So it's time to look through the glass of self-care. And that means a lot more than I'm just saying right now. It means a lot more to you. You know what that means for you in your life. You know, and I'm gonna kind of go off on a tangent just a little bit, just to point it out, right?
Give it to me.
There's some of you been feeling a pain going through your left side.
Okay.
There's some of you been dealing with a problem knee. There's some of you who got some bad feet, right? There's some of you who you know your thought processes ain't been right. You know that you're suffering somewhere in your mind. Go ask for some help. Go seek somebody who can help you. Right? This ain't about just putting lotion on your feet. This is about getting some x-rays and getting someone to tell you exactly what's happening and utilize your insurance to pay for that fix.
Deep dive.
Let's stop sitting on the sidelines. You know, we know a lot of middle-aged and older people who, you know, maybe need a shoulder surgery, or may need a hip surgery, and you've been running from it.
Right.
You've been trying to act like, you know, it's gonna fix itself. And then 2 years later, you're dealing with the same thing. You could have been healed up on to your next portion of your life. Self-care is the measure of today.
That is correct. Quit chasing money and remember your health.
There you go. There you go.
Man, you was on that one.
Now, let's cover this nice subject, shall we, Jay?
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Are more single people becoming uncertain about relationships?
Ooh.
What do you think, Jay?
I like to say yes, because you gotta look at divorces. Divorce rate is high. Relationships are failing, and again, this is my observation. Now, why they're failing? It seemed to be a lot of different reasons, and I like to say trust is gonna be one of the first ones, and then respect, and then I don't really feel like they have a plan. They just come together and they feel like they're happy, and that's all it's gonna be. And they feel like the happiness is going to carry them all the way over to a bliss happiness, And I really feel like sometimes it takes more of a plan because now that I kind of know you, I kind of want to plan on what all we're going to do. But a lot of times they just feel like, we just take it day by day. And that's fine. You can take it day by day, but it's also nice to have a plan because then, if you're working together to get and achieve something, instead of just trying to find out what it's just going to be. Because normally it's just be a waste of time. And I really feel like we're getting too old to be wasting time. And then it's just a fear of failure. A fear if it's not working out. And I like to say when you've been single for a long time, you keep a lot of selfish ways, so it's kind of hard for you to drop that to be in a committed relationship with a person where you have to not be selfish. You really got to look at that other person. And that's kind of scary when you're used to just taking care of yourself. So when you start adding all these things up, we got a brewing pot of issues that I like to say we rush out of, but we don't address. So now you bring all that into a quick relationship, and it starts off great, and then all these stuff start to get peeled off, and then somebody feel like that's just too much.
Yeah.
Some people say a mask. I like to say, no, you just didn't peel back the onion to see the real person. You know, you dreamed of a person bigger than what he really was, and then you would say it was a falseness. You helped that falseness. Some of that was your image of what he should be compared to what he was. So these things right here, I can definitely see problems in paradise. But on the upfront, I think these problems are already within us before we ever took that leap of trying to make a relationship work.
That's exactly right, Jay. And you know, I'm gonna attack it from the very beginning.
Okay.
All right. It is good and edifying to have a special someone in your life.
Right.
That's good. I'm telling you, there's almost nothing better in life than having a special someone.
Okay.
A ride or die, a sidekick, somebody who you can share your life with, somebody you can share your problems and your dreams and your life's issues. You know, have you ever been in a situation and you know you had a bad day, but you picked up the phone to call that special someone, and somehow just the simple fact that you had somebody to call took some pressure off of you.
Yes.
Right? Just the fact that you had somebody to love and somebody to love you took pressure off of you. And that, I'm telling you, that is one of the best feelings in the world.
I agree.
There really is nothing better under the sun than that love relationship. But we have to understand, I'll say the facts.
Okay.
And we have to understand the statistics, right?
Ooh.
Relationships are failing at an alarming rate. We know for many years now that half or more of all people who get married end in divorce.
Okay.
The relations end, and we know many more that never even make it to that point that fall out. So, you know, the question that I'm asking myself, because I seek love too, I seek to have a special lifetime partner. What is going on? Now, why would you enter, if you're getting ready to start a business, a computer business, and you realize that 50% of all the computer businesses are failing and falling out and losing money and going bankrupt, why would you ever pursue that business without answering the question, why? It would be foolish to run in and start a computer business knowing that all the other computer businesses are failing and running out. If you don't know why, you're going to become a victim of the same thing that they were a victim of.
Right.
So, the question is, what is going wrong? Well, there's a lot of things going wrong. And number one, you know, we all should ask ourselves the question, have you ever had a lifetime relationship of any sort? Think about that. You got to really think about that question, right? Have you ever been dedicated to one person for a lifetime? And now you are subject to their wants, their needs, their likes, dislikes, their attitudes, their frustrations, their dreams, their goals. They may be a little pushy. They may be selfish. Right? On the other side, they might be real giving and might be real helpful. Right? But typically, people who are real giving, it feels good for a while. However, they're not going to just keep giving.
Right.
At a certain point, they're going to start expecting. And if you are not able to deal with the expectations of a real giver,
Right.
it's going to be some conflict.
I can see that coming.
You see?
Oh, I feel that.
So I'm just encouraging you to ask yourself some really deep questions before you go into these lifetime commitments of love. they fall out for so many different reasons that, it doesn't even make sense. But I admire those who still seek love,
Right.
because that means that your love spirit hasn't been conquered by all of these other people's failures,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I agree.
So how do you overcome those failures, Jay? How do you jump in and start dealing with it? Do you just jump in and then you just take it one day at a time? Or maybe should you start the relationship with some counseling? Counseling don't mean you go and sit in front of somebody. Counseling means you start working on the relationship right out front. Maybe you read a book together. Maybe you sit down and just have a number of intimate discussions about what you want
Right.
and what you don't want.
Right.
Maybe after you spend 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 months together, you sit down and you open the door. You just lay the carpet back and say, okay, I don't like this. Let's address it now, because if we don't address it now, it's going to become a real thorn when we're under matrimony.
You all right?
It's going to become something that could tear us down. So why don't we go ahead and address it right now?
Mm.
Almost nobody does that,
I agree.
right? But, a pastor, a minister, a church will try to get you to start asking some of those questions. Start working on the relationship before the relationship needs to be worked on.
Correct.
Right? Because if you're going to own a nice car, I don't care how new it is, it's going to be maintenance from day one.
Mm.
You're going to have to care for it. You're going to have to plan to care for it. And you're going to have to define new tools. Maybe you need to cover it brand new. Maybe you need to put certain type of gas in it because it's brand new.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you need to protect the wheels with a certain solution because it's brand new. Maybe you need to wipe down the interior a little more because it's brand new. Maybe you need to keep the kids out of it for a little while because it's brand new. But either way, that relationship with that car is going to require some maintenance early in the game. And that's part of what we're dealing with here is that,
Yes.
young people are not able to see the pitfalls.
True.
And so they're walking right into these brick walls. We've all done it, right? But what typically happens, many of the relationships that last, 10, 20, 30, 40 years, those people can tell you stories. Go find somebody who's been married 10, 20, 30, 40 years and let them tell you some wisdom and some insight. That 30, 40-year insight just might save your marriage.
Tell me about it.
It might save your relationship. What are some things, Jay, that you wish you would have done before you got married?
Took it more serious. Instead of just following a thought of what it should be, I didn't investigate. I didn't have clear understanding of marriage. So I figured, it'll make her happy. So I'm doing this to make a person happy and I guess just forget about my own. Just to run amok. I've been married for several years, but don't get me wrong. I just know if I would have went to it with more intense and more meaning, I think I would have got more out of it. Instead of going in there day by day, I'm a person that usually make things last, but that doesn't make it right. It doesn't make us a bliss. It didn't make us totally happy.
Yeah.
And marriage is not about happiness anyway. It never was.
Ooh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. What did you say? What did you say?
Hit you over the head again. People getting married thinking that's what happiness is. But I'm going to be honest with you. It's not. It got nothing to do with happiness. But that's what people want to equate it to. And that's why you're going to fail at it. Because that's not what it is. It is a commitment. It is a lifelong commitment. And it's one of the ones that a lot of people are just saying, well, I can get a divorce. I don't have to stay in it. But in the eye of God, it is a lifelong commitment that you feel like you can just get out of because of adultery, because whatever reason you choose. But understand what's written, it is for the death do you part. Because that's why they put that in there.
Yeah.
But people don't want to take that seriously. But then you want to get into it.
Right.
That's why I said you really have to look into that whole institute before you just say, I want to just walk down this road.
Right.
Please have a clear understanding. Because if you have a clear understanding, y'all both can walk down it and understand what it means.
Right.
And then when you get mad, you understand it is no real leaving.
Right. Right.
You can separate and you can take time because everybody get their feelings. Get it. But to go over there with your girlfriend and tell your problems is going to lead you down a road that you don't need to do. They don't need to be in your business. You two need to work it out. Don't even go to your mom and dad. Because when you get married, that's what you do. You separate from them. So y'all two got to figure out how to make this plan work and let the world do the world. But we let the world in. We go on Facebook and want to tell everybody. Why? Everybody ain't your friend and everybody ain't going to care. But misery loves company.
Yeah.
So don't put your business out there. Work your business out with the one you love. Not necessarily with your best friend. I like to say you can counsel with anybody, but when it comes to your personal relationship, make it be about you too. Now, these are the things I think would have been very helpful for me instead of me just trying to learn it the hard way.
Right.
I try to institute it in anything I deal with now.
Yeah. And learn it the hard way is ultimately just trying to learn it on your own.
Yes.
Right. I love what Jay said, that I wish I would have just taken it more serious. Right. And you got to understand that this relationship is the main thing. It's not the fruit of the relationship. It's not buying the homes and taking the trips and having the kids, but the relationship itself is the main thing, right?
Yes.
And if you know, I would love to ask two young people who are seeking to get married, and again, when they're seeking to get married, they have no clue what's going to happen. None of us have any clue what's going to happen, right? But you ask yourself questions: do I love this person enough to be broke with them?
Ooh.
I mean, are you willing to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for years because of this person? With this person.
With the way this economy going, bro, you better believe it.
And that's a double-edged sword, because you might end up eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with this person because of a decision that they made. And they might have made that decision without you. Now you're in suffering because of this person who you love. Is your love going to change about this person now that you're in this situation? Yeah, it will.
You'll be looking at them side eye.
We know that it will, right? And a lot of marriages that last, they go through these very challenging things.
Correct.
They, when people get upset with one another, they have a tendency to want to go cheat. Excuse me.
Okay.
They have a tendency to want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They have a tendency to shut down, not want to talk about the things that are going on in the relationship. Excuse me.
No, you're fine.
So contest your love before you get married.
I agree.
Contest the idea that I'm going to want to be with this person forever.
And I don't even think people really listen to that forever. It's like a convenience. I'm going to be with this person until death do us part. That's forever.
That's forever. Do you understand what
Right.
forever
Not
means?
till somebody else come along better. Okay?
Right.
It is forever.
Right.
Through health and sickness.
Yes.
Normally you're healthy getting married. You're usually excited. Okay?
Right.
But there's going to be some dark days where health can play a factor on one of you guys.
Absolutely.
Can
And
change
both of you.
instantly.
Absolutely.
And that love or resentment you might have over decisions that y'all went through, now that person's health hits you.
Right.
Now you have to make us some decisions, but leaving shouldn't be one of them.
Yeah.
And I like to say that's why we having a lot of these problems, because everybody put that option of leaving on the table, and it's not on the table.
It's not on the table.
It's not.
It's not on the table.
And when somebody put that on the table, they putting, to me, wrongness in front of spiritualness.
Absolutely.
That shouldn't even be.
Absolutely.
Now I understand
Absolutely.
under certain circumstances.
Yeah. And
But without them circumstances of physical abuse and some of the craziness of the world today,
yeah.
I am saying on the regular.
Yes.
Regular issues, because he's staying out late, she feel like he need to be doing this, and you decide, well, I'll just leave you. You're putting things on the table should never be on the table.
Yeah.
And then you wonder why it runs
exactly
amok,
right.
or you wonder why
And
it don't work.
And you put those things on the table because it seems like there's nowhere else to go. There's nothing else to do. I done tried. I done talked to him. I done listened. I done been patient, and I've given in a dozen times.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seems like there's nowhere else to go, and so we run, right? And let me tell you, folks, my greatest regret to date.
What's that?
I'm 54 years old. My greatest regret to date was giving up on my ex-wife. And in my mind, all of these years I've been justified, but I've been suffering on the inside.
I can understand that.
I've been hurting on the inside all of these years because of that one decision I made. I wonder what my life would look like if I would have had more forgiveness. I wonder what my life would have looked like if I would have made the decision to stay another week, another month, another year. I wonder what my relationship with my kids would be like if I would have fought a little harder. You don't understand some of the decisions that you're making when you quit and when you give up, and it is not an option. I hope this is going to help somebody.
Yes.
Whether it be sooner or later, I hope I help you stay in the fight. The key is to stay in the fight.
Yes.
Now, I just want to quickly go over some of the things that young people just don't understand are happening in the nature of failed relationships.
Okay.
The trust issues,
Yep.
the respect issues.
Yep.
They don't have a plan, like Jay said. You
Correct.
gotta have a plan. Plan your life like you would plan anything else. Like you
Yes.
would plan your business. Plan your life. There's a lot of selfishness going on.
Two separate people, what you expect?
Right? That there's people who enter into relationships and they don't know how to take care of themselves, much less how to take care of each other. And so now there's a lack of care, right? There are people who change. Everybody's changing every day.
Thank you.
And in 1 year, the person you married is not the same person you're married to.
Nope.
How do you deal with those changes? There are some people who don't take it serious from the beginning. It's just a great event. It's something that will bring us together, but after the marriage, there's nothing else to look forward to,
Nope.
right? Marriage is not about happiness,
Say it.
right? And let me tell you this, life is not about happiness. Life is about achievement. Marriage is about achievement. And when you get achievement in your heart, you'll find that you'll be a little more patient. You'll be a little more diligent.
Yes.
You'll ask a few more questions. You'll have a little more patience. One of the famous words in great marriages is, yes, dear. Yes, dear. You'll humble yourself to your partner or your significant other even more. You'll find that you want to give them what they want, and you have not what you want.
Ooh, preach it, crowd, preach it.
We're asking the question tonight, are more single people becoming uncertain about relationships? And the answer obviously is yes.
Yes, it is.
Rightly so. But the other side of the equation, now that we've covered those,
Okay.
is that there's oftentimes too many options in front of you in the world nowadays. You know, at a certain point in life, you used to could meet a significant other, and y'all would just start working together and talking together and loving one another and hanging out. all that good stuff.
Yes. We go to church on y'all today.
But nowadays,
What?
you just happen to meet somebody online.
Mm.
And the very day you meet this special one, you met 10
other
other
ones.
special ones. And now you gotta sift and cipher and decipher which one is gonna be the one that you want to hold on to. And then you get to a point where it's so good to hold on to so many other people that you decide you might want to try to hold on to a few of them at a time.
Say it, Crab.
Ain't no love gonna be found there.
No.
And if you find love, it's gonna be fleeting. Because you are divided against yourself.
Spreading thin.
How you gonna have a special someone and you can't sift through all the nonsense that is before you?
Because you're too busy trying to be with everyone.
Too busy trying to be with everyone. Sometimes having too many options is causing uncertainty in single folk about relationships.
You nailed that one. Yes, sir. I've been there.
Yeah.
You are correct.
I have been there too. And here's the phenomena. And this is truly a phenomena. When you got somebody, everybody wants you.
Oh, you snitching.
But when you ain't got nobody,
seem like nobody wants you.
Don't nobody want you.
Wait a minute, that one right there is a key thing that I've noticed. Is that just like how it really works?
No,
because it seems like it happens a lot.
It happens a lot, Jay, because it's, all I can say is a universal phenomenon.
Okay.
Right? I've been in sales for many years, and when you got customers and you're selling products and you're selling service and everything is going well,
right?
Everything just flowing.
Right.
The more customers you got, the more customers you get.
That's what you want.
But you mess around and go into a lull and you ain't got no customers. Now you ain't got no customers, and you ain't got no money, and you ain't got no faith, and you ain't got no hope, and now you ain't got no effort.
Just tow your drive up.
The Lord told us in so many ways that those who have, more will be added. But those who don't have that which you have shall be taken away. It's a universal principle, whether you understand it or not, has nothing to do with you being subject to it. If you got somebody who loves you, pay attention to the one who loves you.
Okay.
Honor them. It may not be your lifetime keeper.
Right.
But you have to have gratitude for what you have in spite of how small it may be.
Ooh, okay.
Don't just throw away something that you may have to have nothing.
Right.
Because when you have nothing, you truly have nothing. Right? And I don't know who I'm talking to right now.
You're preaching to somebody.
But I know we've all been in that position. Right? There's somebody who wanted to take you out, pretty lady. There's somebody who was giving you attention. There's somebody who wanted to get to know you. And you was like, well, they this and they that. And you pushing them away, this and that and this and that. All of a sudden, they're going to stop one day. And now you're wondering, where's the attention going to come from next? And who knows where it's going to come from next. It might not show up again for a long time. I'm of the notion that the Lord is always watching. You might not want to turn them into your forever, but you might find there's some energy, friendship there. There might just be some getting to know you, and and then at a certain point they might meet somebody else, or you might meet somebody else.
Right.
But if you have a little bit of energy, you have to hold on to what you got.
I get that.
Right? The single life can be chaotic sometimes.
Ooh, you ain't got to tell me.
And it can pull you in so many different directions that you're not even considering long-term relationship. You're not considering the fruit that you have in your current basket. You're always looking for the next basket of fruit. And that can cause you to be alone. And we never know when, all of that energy is just going to run out.
Right.
And so how many women have gone through a period of time where you know, they had some energy in life and they were getting out a little bit, moving around, meeting people, and everything seemed to be going well. And they met a couple of people and you know, was being too picky. And all of a sudden they went through a lull. Maybe they went through a financial lull, or maybe they got sick or got hurt. And now there ain't no new people to meet. And you had 30 people that you could have talked to in the last 3 years that you could have gotten to know. But now, the lull has happened. And the next thing you know, you spend the next 10 years by yourself. Because when the opportunity was being placed in front of you, you had your nose in the air. And you was pushing people away who could have offered you some value.
Say it, crap.
Right? I'm just wanting to pour into somebody who just might be pushing opportunities away from you. And it's not going, heyday is not going to exist always.
Correct.
You're not going to be beautiful and voluptuous and fine all your life.
That's correct.
You're going to go through some hardships, and when you go through those hardships, what do you have left from what God has already brought into your life?
Now you're preaching.
Do you have anything left? Is there anybody can say that they are your friend, that they are your significant other? Is there anybody that you have in your life who would come and take care of you in spite of love, like, or anything else?
Come on.
We got to get off the surface of things when it comes to our analysis and our assessment of people.
I agree.
When people are pouring love in you and people are pouring good stuff towards you, find a way to receive some of it. Find a way to hold on to some of it. I'm a firm believer that there's not a single person that passed in your sphere of influence that was not divinely sent.
Okay. Well, I got one for you.
Go ahead, Jay.
You mentioned earlier, why would you start a computer business and then all these computer businesses are failing? It gives you stats. Well, I'm going to go into a relationship the same way about your analogy of computers. Even though marriages are failing and relationships are failing, I would say I will find out why they're failing. I will find out what they're not doing. And then it won't deter me to go ahead and do it if that's what I want to do.
Right.
And then take it upon myself to enter the lion's den with knowledge.
Right.
Where it shouldn't just happen to me because now I'm more prepared,
Right.
where a lot of people wasn't.
Right.
And then I have a better chance of success because I have a thought of what I really want to do compared to just following you. I'm following people that fail, which might lead me to failure compared to me understanding what they didn't do correctly.
Right.
Because I can see it at a bird point of view.
Right.
And I can analyze and make changes to make it better for me. That's why I can still do that without looking at the failure, but learning from it.
Learning from
And it ain't got to be mine.
Yeah.
You don't always got to go into it for the hardship of failing to learn.
Right.
You can actually go into things without failing at all,
Absolutely.
with great knowledge and leadership.
Absolutely.
And that's what will make you more successful at a time that we don't see that success at all.
And this is what I really like about what you said, Jay. In order to have a love and loving relationship, you have to have knowledge. It was knowledge and what else you said? It was knowledge and something else. But you got to be prepared. That's the point here. You got to be prepared even for love.
But what's
You
that
got
other
to have
word we
a-
use? Fortitude.
You got to have fortitude, right? You got to know it's not going to be all gravy.
Nope.
You got to know that probably somewhere in the mix of learning this person and understanding this person that you're going to find something that you really don't care for.
Correct.
You're going to find something in their history, or maybe something in their behavior or attitude. You may find something about how they handle problems. You know, some people have been running from their problems for years. Don't
Yes.
doesn't make them bad people. But you're going to have to gird some strength up and some patience,
Right.
and maybe even some of that leadership. It was knowledge and leadership, he said. You're going to have to gird some of that up so that you can help this person through that. Because everybody's going to come with a hurdle,
Yes.
right? And if you grown and you know that nobody's perfect, then you know, you're going to ask them to help you overcome your hurdle, and you're going to help them overcome their hurdle. But if you walk into that relationship thinking that there are no hurdles, you're almost doomed from the beginning.
I agree.
Right?
Thinking it's a perfect person for you.
Yeah.
And you ain't perfect yourself.
And you ain't perfect yourself. And you know, I'm going to just throw this out there because I think it's going to make sense to the whole scenario. They suggest that the longest lasting marriages are arranged marriages. Now, what we know about arranged marriages is that they've been choosing these people, the families have been choosing these people for long periods of time.
Right.
But what can we take from that? What we need to take from that is they go in with no back door. There is no out. They go in saying, you're going to be together forever, no matter what. I don't care if you like her. I don't care if you don't like her. I don't care if she fits your needs. I don't care what. You're going to stay in that relationship because that person can satisfy your love. But you may be so unwillingness and so stubborn-headed and so unwillingness to change or whatever that you don't get the fruit out of it. But if you go into it with the mentality that there is no back door, you will find love and you'll nurture one another for the long haul.
I tell you, when it comes to them arranged marriages, and why I believe, and it's just me, why a lot of them are more successful and they last, is because that person saved themselves so they don't know nothing else.
They don't know nothing else.
And they know what they was getting into because that's what the family prepared them for.
Right.
And they don't want to dishonor the family. Okay? That's that old school tradition. Now you got a modern person, today worldly person that's out there with any and everybody. And they like, I couldn't do that. You're right. Because you can't even hold yourself. You spread yourself thin, but then you want to talk about somebody that held themselves and you want to see the same kind of outcome. No, you got some things that's totally different.
Yeah.
That person ain't looking to say no because I don't know him.
Right.
They interested in the family.
Right.
The family is going to make sure this person is in a position where he can bring honor. That's why they doing this. So normally they work out because the family have the best interest of bringing two great people together and merging the families together. And that's why it tends to work, because they got to look at each other and not want to fail each other's family, let alone make it work, because they don't know nothing else. It's a greater chance of it working compared to the love that everybody want to fall in love with, or the happiness.
Yeah.
Okay? They have to learn that, but they understand the commitment.
Yeah.
And they honor it, and it becomes great.
There you go.
So again, I'm not saying that's what everybody, because that's a traditional thing, and everybody ain't traditional.
Yeah. All we're
hold
saying
up.
is when you go into love, no matter how you get there, you got to have that commitment to stay there and work through the hard things. For all those single people who are uncertain about relationships is where you want to be at. There's really nothing out here. I'm a single man in my 50s, and I'm going to tell you, it's not anything special out here in the world to be chasing left to right, up and down. Find you a significant other and spend the rest of your life with them. That is worth the fight. That is worth the struggle. That is worth the toil. And let me tell you, in the midst of all of that is real love. And when you find real love, you have found a diamond in the rough.
Say it again, Crab.
And I'll let it go at that.
I mean, we can close on that one because that was perfect.
And this has been Bar Talk with Jay. My name is Craftmatic. This is my boy
Smooth J in the building.
And of course, we hope this show has been liberating to your hearts and your souls and your spirits. We are here every Thursday from 7 to 8, Facebook Live. We've been here for the last 5 or 6 years. Please like, share, subscribe, tell all your friends and family, and continue to come and watch and participate in some of this great wisdom that we have. We do this show to be leaders in our own community. Why? Because we love you, we appreciate you, and with that, folks, we are out.
Ain't no last calls here.
Bar Talk with Jay.